Lambo, now will be the session for the Q&A sessions. I was wondering if Lompo has got any email on that so far?
I'm there.
Okay.
I'm just going into a bit of rest mode for a few seconds, just let people linger in what we've said. Important to just linger and take things in and assimilate what was good. But we had some questions, and I'll thank you very much for offering these questions to perhaps to trigger to initiate some topics that may be of broad concern for many people. So if you may ask a question, it could be that actually the question you're asking, 25 other people have the same question or are interested in that. And I will try to look primarily at the things that seem to me of most long-term broad interest and at this particular time. So the first question I'd like to respond to concerns someone who has sustained spinal damage last year in a surgery. So the nerves are damaged that run down the back into the feet and toes, which mean the person cannot sit even in a chair, except very briefly. This is sad. The person prior to this did a lot of sitting meditation and also standing meditation and Qigong, sitting and standing. But now the person cannot stand still, can walk. They understood that perhaps Qigong could help it, but obviously this is a process, long-term process, and I hope so too. It's possible for the body to regenerate itself. Surgery is unfortunately not that good because it does do radical changes. So, but it's possible for the body to regenerate. So the person's basically asking, I could try short periods of standing or sitting rather than push, which is my nature, is tend to be pushy. But I'd also like some understanding of how to practice reclining. Person is quite upset about having to recline because they really enjoyed and felt beneficial sitting up. And of course, that's so often how we see meditation. Well, there's a psychology of that, because it's true that when we meditation classically, nobody's sick when they meditate. Everybody's sitting upright, no pain. That's it. But of course, most people are experiencing pain, discomfort, and sickness and discomfort and pain and damage are part of what this body has to go through. So we say, well, can we look more broadly at what we mean by cultivation? And cultivation of the psychology and the neurology. And if the neurology is damaged, it means you have to cultivate more powerfully the psychology, the acts or qualities of recollection, loving kindness, consideration, and mental aspects, the more mental aspects. But reclining, supine posture, it's possible. And the person mentions that their general standard is to lie on their back with a pillow under the knees, or sometimes on the right side. So, that seems good. To be able to use your entire back as a rather than sitting on your bottom, you sit on your back. Use your back as your foundation. And then, but try to bring awareness over the entire form from the crown of the head down to the feet. And because when you recline, the energy naturally quietens down because this body associates that with going to sleep. It switches, the energy goes down. You need to cultivate quite a good, steady mental energy, which could be best accomplished by sweeping from the soles of your feet up to the crown of your head, like a gentle track, not too fast, but steady. And what are you picking up? Not just sensations, but also the energies, a nervous tingling in your feet, your soles of your feet, wherever you feel them. And so the midline along the back, and you have also a cross line, lateral direction. Lateral direction can be made formal by having the arms so the fingers touch each other. Your arms are flat on your back, but the hands come across your chest. Your fingers lightly touch each other on the chest, or if you like, around the navel. And using the hands is helpful because that gives you another way to stay awake. And even if you're sitting meditation, we use hand mudras, which means particular ways the hands are held, in order to bring the sensitivity of the touch into consciousness. So fingertips particularly are extremely sensitive. So if you tune into the sensitivity of your fingertips, they touch each other, the degree of pressure or warmth or softness or smoothness or whatever, tune into that. It gives you something again to help stay wakeful. If you're tuning into your fingertips when you sit in meditation, it helps to stop you going sleepy because your hands will collapse, or getting too tense where your hands will grip. So you use a samadhi mudra where one hand is inside the other, palms upright, thumbs touch, or you can use a single samadhi mudra where each hand is separate, but the fingertips, one fingertip touches the thumb of the same hand, so that the sense of, contact is made between two sensitive digits. That sensitivity keeps you awake. It also, the sense of sensitive touch has an emotional signal to it. This is not about force, but it's not about being sloppy. It's about sensitive connection. Sensitive, not too much pressure, but not collapsed. So that's quite an important neurological signal to establish. This is why it's called Samadhi Mudra, the mudra of samadhi, of collectedness, because that's what samadhi is about. It's about being lightly sensitive, open, not gripping, but definitely focused, in this connected set way. So to go back to the person reclining, if your fingertips are touching your chest, center of your chest, or around your navel, then you can feel if you're, either on your clothes or in your skin, or they're touching each other. That again gives you something to get a focus on. If it's sitting on the center of your chest, then you can feel the movement of the body breathing. As you breathe in and out, you can feel the swelling. You might feel the warmth of the skin or even the beating of the heart. And you'll feel that obviously the heartbeat has got quite a bit to do with emotional state. So this helps soothing touch, sensitive touch, and very soothing and steadying. As they're reclining like that, probably good to keep your eyes open, half open. If you have something on above you that's easy to look at. Because if you're going to be doing this as the main meditation system, you might as well better make something, pretty complete about it. So it's not just 10 minutes, you could be there for an hour. I know some monks who basically their knees have gone through damage and they do a lot of reclining. So do 2 or 3 hours solid, reclining, not asleep, just in the reclining posture, just checking in to the nervous system and cleaning out agitation. So yeah, I know senior monks who do this, who recline when they meditate. And as the system quietens down, reflexes get soothed, they're just listening. It's like listening to your own body, like you have your finger on somebody's pulse and you can feel the nervous energy. When it quietens down, you get an enormous sense of silence. Not just auditory silence, but neurological silence. The system is just steady. There's no agitation in it, no constriction in it. So this is a lovely way to practice. So another seemingly question that will have something for all of us in it. A person mentions how their online Zoom retreats from home pose special challenges with extra distractions and temptations. I notice I apply more effort in formal sitting and would like to seek guidance on balancing relaxation, not overexerting effort and yet staying diligent and wholehearted. Yeah. Well, certainly these online retreats have enormous benefits to them, enormous benefits. But then, like everything else, there are certain negative effects or things we have to deal with. And summed it up, free up the clutter and restrain the actions. And so you switch off and you unclutter. So uncluttering, you can see the place where I'm living, there's not a lot in it. And if there is anything in it, it's generally got a little screen, so I don't even see it. It's a few books there. The main thing is you've got I have a very large altar, shrine. So that's the predominant mood of the area that you live in. That really helps. You can use atmosphere and an environment to your benefit. You switch off what you don't need and switch on what will support it. So, yeah, and building in supports like that, because the sense of over effort, it could mean that you're not actually picking up nourishing effects. So just to enlarge upon that, as I was saying earlier, whenever we have something we feel is important, we want to do, we call it, even that's called meditation, then it kind of, we might go about it more or less habitually the way we normally go about things, is like work, and the system, we've got to do more harder and get it done, get to the good result, because that's the way our work goes. But there's something called play, and play we often think is just for children, but no, obviously, if you're a gymnast or a chess player or a musician, it takes a lot of sophisticated skill. But if you're too driven, you lose some of the fluency, you lose some of the beauty of the thing that you're creating. If you're a painter or a calligrapher, there's got to be enough. You're not trying to get the thing done. You're happy to be in the flow. And that's the difference between work and play. Work is always aimed at getting the end, and play is deepening the quality of the action now, deepening the quality of the action that we're doing. Is this action, is my application towards whatever I'm meditating on, is this coming with a mind of goodwill? Is it using Yoniso Manasikara, careful attention. How is this? Where's it coming from? What's the results of this? Is it using mindfulness? Just stay, linger, and stay till you really get it. Really stay with that till you really get it, till you feel the effects of it. And so knowing that really this is the most important thing to do is to know what's the most important thing. And the most important thing is to act in a balanced way. And naturally, diligence will arise because you are interested and enthusiastic because you're enjoying it. And in a difficult bit, you think, oh, this is challenging, but yeah, this is probably good to work with. Mm-hmm. So as long as it's, I want to do this, then it's good. Unfortunately, sometimes we're connected to systems where we feel they tell me to do it. I've got to do it because the boss or the system says do it. So it doesn't relate to what I'm feeling at all. And we get used to that. So you can have a meditation system you've got to do, irrespective of what's happening for you. So take back authority over, okay, what's worth doing? How do I do this? What brings up the right results? Yeah, I'm in charge here, not from some narrow self-view, but from the authenticity of my aspirations and resolve. And then it's always validating and empowering, and you want to keep going with it, and you learn. To learn means you don't know. Otherwise, you don't need to learn. If you don't know, you're bound to make mistakes. There's no other way. If you don't know, you're bound to make mistakes. But you can't start out being an expert. So get used to making mistakes. And okay, why was that a mistake? I meant well, but I was too hasty. I meant well, but I didn't prepare myself. Yeah. My idea was good, but I didn't actually really get the right attitude around breathing out and letting it happen. Breathing in and letting it happen. I was always trying to make it happen. That's where it went wrong. This is how you learn. Someone asks about samadhi process as a settling downward, the chitta. So they say, as far as their experiences, that's the way it's been going, settling downward of the chitta. I wonder what downward means. Getting more grounded, established, restful. Yeah, that's part of it. But it also expands. So as it becomes more settled, the energy gets more settled and stable. It's like you touch the ground, that it begins to gradually widen and open. And this is where you get these suffusive effects, like refreshment, rapture, ease, enjoyment, because the chitta begins to, so it feels grounded, it feels more settled. It's not having to deal with all kinds of agitation. Therefore, it begins to open and become measureless. How to meditate on space in the body. Yeah. Generally, meditate on space around the body is useful because then you get a sense of freedom from pressure, which is very helpful. So you feel you're sitting with around you, right at the edge of your skin, there's a good amount of space. So this helps the body to relax, not feel defended or tense. And the important aspect of space is the absence of pressure. So space is called a derived or element, it means it's something you begin to notice through the, not because it's a quality, it's an absence of a quality. It's the absence of the quality of pressure and constriction and agitation. So, although there are obvious spaces in the body, such as the cavity of the mouth, when you come into the experience of the body, it's mostly one of various kinds of pressure, warmth, heat, movement. When you close your eyes, how is your body? You feel it. A certain density, certain warmth, movement, energies moving. And space arises as the bodily energies quieten. And then there's a sense of freedom from pressure. And that is not a particular place in the body, it's a sense in the nervous system of the body. Right. Now, another easy example is when when you breathe out, and the out-breath completes itself, before the muscles start pulling air in again, there's a space, right? You're breathing out, end of the out-breath. And then a slight tug in the abdomen, breathing begins again. Get to the end of the inhalation, comes up, you feel it swelling in the chest expands slightly, doesn't really go up, it expands. And then that stops, or that fades out, and there's a sense of opening. Now, is that in the body or outside the body? It's in the nervous system. It means actually it's just resting. And then it begins again. Now, in that, so when we cultivate mindfulness of breathing, it's not as if there's one breath and the next breath. There's one breath begins when you're born, and it goes on till you die. And it's just doing this. It's going up and down and up and down and up and down and up and down and up and down. And it goes inhalation, pause, exhalation, pause, inhalation, pause, exhalation, pause. The energy doesn't stop, otherwise you'd be dead. But what happens is the nervous energy that gets the muscles working stops. And it picks up again. But the energy remains present, but not active. So there's a sense, as you're meditating on breathing, if you do that, follow it through, and you come to those places where, this is resting, open. Here comes the in-breath. And the experience is perceived through the mind as a sense of space. Of course, there may be energetic turbulence happening, different moods or feelings, but if you focus primarily on the movement of the breathing breathes out, and then the muscles rest and relax, the willpower quietens down. You let go. Open space. And it comes in again. So this space is helpful, not just as a quality in itself, but also because it does mean a place where the willpower takes a break. And therefore, our willpower becomes more conscious and directed rather than compulsive. It's able to switch off and switch on again. And in meditation, you want to moderate the willpower because it's you have to be receptive as well as active. Then space is helpful because in space there's no willpower, there's no pressure. There's no got to make anything happen. It's just open. And that's a rare place to find in a day. So it's an important aspect of being alive. It's the place where we get refreshed, things drain out, clear out, and allows new things to arise. Someone asked about cultivation, how to distinguish cultivation from craving to become. I think I've touched upon that. But craving for becoming, to put it another way, is seeking results. So yeah, that's the program of much of our life, do something to get things done. So it's a powerful program. We have to take time to relax by getting into experiencing the qualities of the present moment. So we become much more attuned to sensitivity, receptivity, rather than to goal orientation. Problem with sensitivity is you can be sensitive to just about anything, and this can be extremely overwhelming. So the aim is just to be sensitive to the quality of breathing in, breathing out. This is a wholesome state to be lingered in. This is an unwholesome state to withdraw from. So these are always present moment. Right? So, okay, sensitive to the body as it breathes out, breathes in. Sensitive to the mind when it feels comfortable, linger in it. Sensitive to the mind when it feels agitated, compassionate towards it, calming it. Sensitive to the mind when it gets destructive and craving, restrain it, cool it, check it, turn it away. This is how we cultivate, because in the present moment, we need to see those things as injurious or beneficial. That's practice. And if that goes on, there's going to be results. You don't have to make things happen. They will happen. It's the nature of intention, nature of karma. And this is, meditation is mental karma. Check through. What weakens resolve? Well, probably in non-association with good people. So associating with good people strengthens resolve, because you get a sense of, cross-referencing and enthusiasm, and, it helps to keep you in the right groove, the right channel. So without that, one's really running on one's own, and then resolve is more difficult, particularly if you're associating with people who don't cultivate. It tends to wear down your individual cultivation. We get disheartened. We're not feeling good. Then this can weaken resolve. If that's the case, you need probably good to seek some advice or check where your mind is going and take yourself seriously. The aim of this is for your welfare and long-term happiness. If you're not feeling you want to cultivate it, what is taking you away? Feel too much stress, too much effort to meditate, change your way of practicing. Not getting results, change your desire. Getting automatic, become more wisely attentive. If you're just getting into a grim routine, use wise attention to what's going on and deepen into the qualities of what you're experiencing with right intention. These will bring up purposeful and fruitful results, and then you linger in those. And so you're gradually weaning your mind and strengthening it person experiences disappointment and resentment due to their actions in the world. The person's often experienced that their intent or cetana is based on goodwill and well-being for others, but when their intentions are met with unconcern or skepticism, I often fall prey to resentful feelings. So they feel they're acting in ways that are good and kindly. Other people are not responding in a good way. They're not interested or even kind of slightly skeptical. So you're not getting positive feedback from their actions, their intentions. Can there be subtle impurities that I'm not aware of? And how can the best of intents result in my experience of negative karma vipaka, i.e. the world not seeing the value in what I do? So how does all these good intentions that the person is cultivating don't seem to give rise to wholesome results, but actually to feeling resentful? Mm-hmm. So that's the nub of it. Well, you really, looking for positive feedback from other people is natural, but not necessarily that wise in your case. Because the one that lives with you all the time is the one you want to get feedback from, and that's you. Other people come and go. They may be wise, they may not be wise, they may be confused, they may be stupid, they may be not insensitive, maybe they didn't understand what you were doing. Maybe they weren't even listening. Who knows? But you're the one who listens. So you're the one who gives yourself the most important feedback because you live with yourself all the time. So do you give yourself feedback, or do you expect the other people to give it for you? If you do something good, do you expect a round of applause or brass band to play or what? Very good. Or just people are people, But rather than looking out there, linger in the results. So you see, the results of good intention are good feeling, but you're looking for results in other people. No, the results are in you, not in other people. So if you act, linger with the qualities of those actions and how that felt, stay with that. Then you're keeping the feedback loop intact and in yourself. So if you're looking at feedback from other people, then it's not intact because you're not responsible for how they see things. Okay, so if you're looking for that and they're not giving it to you, then you get negative results. You feel disappointed or frustrated because you're searching for something where it's not going to come from there. Looking in the wrong place. When we don't get it, then you feel resentful. Well, you need to get it where it comes from, which is in your heart. Now, feeling resentful about other people is a bit of a waste of time too, because there's quite a lot of people you can feel resentful and annoyed by in this world. Some one feel extremely displeased with because people's morality and virtue is not, by and large, there's a lot of unskillful actions around. So you don't concern yourself. Praise, blame. Don't concern yourself. Concern yourself with what rests in your own heart. Then you don't have to. You're not looking for getting blood from a stone or trying to milk a turtle. You're not going to get milk out of a turtle. So don't bother to milk it or ask it or get resentful. Turtles don't give you milk, but your own heart will. So I'd recommend you really look there. Close the loop. Persons saying during their meditation session the mind was calm, aware and curious. They noted something unusual. The mind wanted to avoid concepts such as labeling what sense consciousness detects. It was not interested. There was a sense of the I that was inclining to drop. It did not resist, but it felt stuck. I don't know quite what to make of it. It isn't a sense of doubt, but curiosity to understand it. How it arrived, I don't understand. Well, clearly you don't understand it, so it's not entirely clear what it is. But just, you're not going to get understanding through concepts. By and large, the heart expects to get the mind, the thinking mind, to give correct understanding. But actually, correct understanding arises first in the heart, and it's not verbal. It's a sense of ease or comfort or clarity, and then the thinking mind can create a label to define what that is. So quite a bit of the time we don't really know, but we can sense. So tune yourself to the heart tones, the tones of the heart, where the heart feels bright, steady, strained, giddy. And if it doesn't feel straight and steady, then you should give more attention to the body. Because the body energy acts as a kind of a stabilizing agent. So as long as you keep the body energy, the nervous energy in the mind, even if it's in the background of your attention, that acts as a safety net. So you can refer to, how is that in my body? I'm completely out of my body, or it feels kind of bright. When I say your body, I don't mean necessarily your anatomy, but your nervous system. Feels quite tingly or fresh. Okay, feels spacious and soft. Feels foggy. Can't even get it. If you can't detect it, take an out breath, take an in breath. Just give a little more attention to the breathing or the walking, to how the body does it. Brighten up that reference point. Until the heart, the citta, becomes more lucid and steady. And all that was just the mind, the citta losing focus. Or because the moments of release, particularly when the citta releases, sometimes it's not clear. It's a bit of things slip out rather than carefully released. So we have what's called wrong release, when there's not been enough sati, mindfulness. Wrong release comes from wrong mindfulness. If mindfulness isn't fully established, then it's just things kind of fall away, but you don't really, what was that? And where am I? The proper foundation has also fallen away. So re-establish the establishments of sati around the body, feeling, mind, and skillful and unskillful dhammas. Is there faith? Is there energy present? Is there loss of energy? Is there collectedness present or absent? No, you keep this recollecting in the background. Yoniso manasikara, deeply attending. How is this? How is this? And then you don't lose the thread. You stay with it. So I'm going to take a pause now because I've spoken quite a lot. I can certainly go on, but I don't think you need to hear any more for today from me. You've already had quite a bit. There's a lot to digest, so give yourself some space. If things have not been clear, they'll maybe become clear later. Maybe you don't need to be clear about it now. Things will take their own time. And we just keep to the basic message, right intention, embodiment, careful attention, Yoniso Manasikara, mindfulness, looking for good, wholesome qualities. Stay with that. Stay with it. You can trust that. You can rely upon that. This will be for your welfare. So, Namo Dana for your practice for this period, and I'll take my leave.
Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Thank you, Long Po, for the answers and advices. Brothers and sisters, we will now chant the closing homage following the video on screen. Arahang Samma Sambuddho Bhagava, the Lord, the perfectly enlightened and blessed one, Buddhang Bhagavantang Abhivademi. I render homage to the Buddha, the Blessed One. Swakato Bhagavata Dhammo, the teaching so completely explained by him. Dhammang Namasami, I bow to the Dhamma. Supatipanno Bhagavato Sāvaka Sangho, the Blessed One's disciples who have practiced well. Sanghang Namami, I bow to the Sangha. Brothers and sisters, let us pay our respect to Long Po before Long Po takes his leave. First bow, second bow, third bow. Thank you once again, Long Po, and we will all see you tomorrow.